Morning. Today we're just out for a little local walk. It's the first weekend after the slight lifting of the lockdown restrictions, and although we could have gone up in the Peak District, I think for the time being it's probably going to be absolutely rammed, and better just to stay a bit more local. So we're just doing a little circuit down by the River Mersey. Maria be tagging along behind.
Slow coach.
Just coming down onto the river now. Or more precisely, the glorious River Mersey. And I think the decision is we'll go left down towards Didsbury. River's looking fairly low today. Not been much rain at all. Pretty popular path with cyclists and runners, this, and walkers of course. Morning.
Morning.
There's not a chance you'll be able to see this of course, but on that bush right in the centre there's a kingfisher, a blue speck. There it goes. Lovely to see, brilliant. Don't know how much you could see of that, but what a brilliant sight. There it goes. Fabulous. And there's a grey wagtail down there. There he goes. Whee! Just next to a submerged tire. I've just zoomed in a bit, so this will be extremely wobbly, folks, I'm afraid. Goes. Lovely. The noise you can hear is the M60 ring road. Just coming down to the flyover now where the path cuts underneath. This artwork gets regularly updated and renewed. It never seems to be the same twice when you come down. The other thing about this walk is there's loads of industrial archaeology. Just looking up there behind the bushes, there's the old sort of abutment of a bridge that's been dismantled. You can actually walk up to it there, and across the back of this field there's a railway embankment, long disused. I think it was finally decommissioned in the mid-60s. But there's several railways around here. There used to be a line that ran right into Manchester. Obviously follows the contours down the Mersey Valley fairly accurately. Later railways obviously got a bit more ambitious and built structures like the Stockport viaduct, which is about a couple of miles back down the path we've just come along. But it would be the subject of a whole video in itself of investigating all the railways, as there was a bridge that crossed the river just here. I think two bridges possibly. I'll show you some of the remains in a second. You can see here the remains of where one of the bridges used to span the Mersey. It's quite difficult to get your head around how all the lines come together here. I think there was a line here that goes across and joins what's still, I think there's a not sure whether it's called the Cheadle line, but the Cheadle station's still there, not in use. It's a pub now next to a garden centre, and this line used to cross and meet up with another line, and then the embankment that I've just showed you, that went down, and there was Heaton Mersey station and down to Didsbury. All very interesting around here. In this area, just over to the right, there used to be what I think was a dye works, and there was obviously there's a weir here, and there's like an offtake from the river that took water into the works, and then there was filtration ponds and all sorts of interesting things that are largely buried ruins now. Although there's a lot of foam, it's nothing like it used to be back in the day. You used to almost be able to walk across it on the back of the foam. There's a lot less industry now, almost non-existent, and as you can see from wildlife such as kingfishers, it is relatively healthy now as a river. Forgot to mention actually, this part of the walk forms part of the TransPennine Wag, which I think goes right from Liverpool, obviously all the way across the Pennines. Not sure exactly where it ends up, to be honest, but it'd be a very varied walk through all sorts of different types of industrial and rural environments. Sign of the times, you've got a field full of solar panels over there. They've been there not too long, and then back to in the further distance you've got Cheadle sewage works, which sometimes adds its own unique atmosphere to this walk. Luckily not so bad today. These aren't wild, but they're probably garden escapees. But if you had smelly vision or smelly YouTube, you'd be in for a treat, because you can smell the lovely perfume. Gorgeous. How on earth they've got here, I don't know. Hopefully the wind noise isn't too bad. I'm just trying out a new microphone. Just recording on my phone. It does have a wind deflector thing. I'm not using it. Just wanted to try it without and see what it's like. It's not a very windy day today, but there's a little bit of a breeze that you might be able to hear every now and then. Or it might sound like a hurricane and the whole thing will be unusable, but never mind. Hopefully you can hear me okay with the breeze. One of the nice things down here, another piece of wildlife, you can probably see some holes in the banking over there. You might not be able to see on the camera, but there's sand martins flying in and out. There's not that many places around here that you can see nesting sand martins. Can't see the sand martins, they're the little tiny sand coloured birds against a sand coloured background. Lovely sight. This next stretch just takes us down to the bridge at Parswood before we turn left towards Abney Hall. And there we have it, Parswood Bridge, left turn here and towards Cheadle, and then we dip into Abney Hall Park. Noisy bit on the road up to Cheadle. Still a lot quieter than it would be, of course. Not that many cars out, which is probably still a good thing to see. This is that other railway line that I mentioned. It's only remaining as a single track now. It's still in use. Mainly cargo, but there are some passenger trains on it, and the old disused line that we saw before, where the disused bridges were that had been torn down across the Mersey, that used to come across and link up to this line as well. And on this side of the road, that's the old disused Cheadle station that I mentioned. It's actually a pub cum restaurant now, and behind it is a garden centre. So you can see where the platform used to be and everything. Interesting to see. Here we are, back to the M60. That's where the Cheadle Road crosses it. As you can see, not that many cars. Would be absolutely rammed on a Sunday normally. can feel a little bit virtuous because we've not added to the congestion up in the Peak District. Stayed down here in these lovely surroundings. Coming into Abney Park now. There's a lot of different paths you can take through here. Nice to get away from the noise of the motorway, just about. You can probably still hear it in the background. And taking this path round the perimeter, so the Cheadle Road will be just to the right of us for a little while. It is a lovely park though, lots of nice mature trees, and I'll show you the hall shortly. All that lovely grass, and all they want is the trees. Contrary cows. Don't know whether you can just see through the trees over there. Is Abney Hall. I think it's used for office space now. So we're up to about 6 kilometres now. Oh, squirrel in front. And we're just coming round to the end of this little path, and it comes out near a nice duck pond. In more normal times there's a cafe where you can stop for a cuppa as well, but I expect that'll be closed. Hundreds of squirrels around. I say the trees in this park are beautiful. I'm sure it was, purposely laid out as a stately home back in the day, and the tree planting was very carefully thought out. But yeah, fabulous. The little cafe was open, but we've not bothered stopping anyway. Get back and have a cuppa at home. Just walking along the rear path of Abney Park now. There is another path through the centre that's just been improved and made a lot more sort of wheelchair friendly and pushchair friendly. This one's still been left nicely wooded and rough. Turn the camera around and show you in a sec. And here we are, just at the other end of the park, just popping out near the motorway junction. You wouldn't think it was a motorway junction, there's not that much traffic, but there's the footbridge going across. So we've just popped across Roscoe's roundabout, a task which is a lot easier than usual on account of there not being very much traffic at all. And it also looks like they're setting up some new traffic lights there, which is going to make it even easier still, because it's normally a right bugger to get across. So just walking up now, and there's another little pathway that takes us through onto some quiet roads that just end up back towards where we live. We're up to not quite 7 kilometres yet. Okay, so we're nearly done now. This little path and the footbridge takes us up to the one of the railways that we crossed earlier. Just trying to remember if this is the still the single track one, or have a look in a second. I think it's the single track one. Yeah, that's the single track one that we crossed earlier. Oh, I think there might be a train coming. Certainly hear something. No, I think it's on the other railway. There's another railway nearby. Anyway, we'll be up to about 8.5 kilometres by the time we get home, which is not far from here now. So, there goes Maria heading off home. So thanks for joining us on our little Sunday morning stroll. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I promise you that there will hopefully be some walking and camping videos of all types coming soon, once we get out and about a little bit more after this horrible lockdown. So thanks again for joining me. Catch you soon. Signing off.